right, guys, welcome to the Escape Podcast, another episode. As you can see, we're clearly not in the studio. We are in beautiful West Palm Beach with my man Berto here. But before we get into him and how hyper successful he is, I want to thank Alex Breezy, my man at the BACP group. If you need your own podcast, hit him up. He is the man, the myth, the legend that gets it all done. The best editing. He's the guy to go to for video and photos. So I appreciate you, Alex, for driving down and getting this together. And I want to also thank Berto here because not only is he my cousin, he allowed us to do this, but like he is super successful, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit and kind of figure out how he got here. And man, I'm just super excited. Honestly, thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. No, I'm excited to be here and be a part of this, and obviously be with Benny and, share a little bit of what we've been through, what we've gone through, and we're trying to get to.
So I had mentioned that he's a hyper successful individual, and we're going to get into that. But before we really get into the meat and bones of the whole thing, can you just explain a little bit, give an introduction of who you are and what it is that you do?
Yeah. So today we are a mixture of a lot of things with construction and the whole investment business. We're a real estate investor, and then also general contractors out here in South Florida. We got a couple of showrooms. We fabricate, sell our own stone. We also have our own cabinet shop. So anything furniture-wise, we're able to build from scratch. And we're selling everything that we're installing everything that we sell. So that became a big thing here for us, and it's been good. It's been real good. So it started from obviously Mass as you guys know, all Massachusetts. And then we came down to Florida, and it's been a roller coaster till we are now stable and doing quite a bit of things and making a difference in a lot of people's lives. So just from cabinets to stone to flooring to everything. So we're like I said, we sell everything and we install everything. So it just makes it a lot easier to our customer.
That's dope. So. And that's kind of the differentiator, because a lot of companies don't do kind of like both things.
So it's hard to find someone that do what we do, how we do it. Most companies either they're selling just the stuff or they're just installing all the stuff. So we're doing both. And when it comes to the stone and the cabinets, it becomes a little bit more, detailed and we're able to turn things around within a couple of weeks. Other companies are asking for a couple of months. We're asking for a couple of weeks. So that makes a big difference. And that's definitely a big difference from what we offer to most companies offer.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know you as a hustler, right? So give us a little bit of your backstory when it comes to like where you grew up, how you grew up, and then the transition from Brazil to, I guess, Boston, unless there was a pit stop before then. Give us a little bit of backstory on that.
It's quite long. There's a lot of information there. So, we came from Brazil and, not much in and just a lot of wanting to do it and willpower. And I was just actually talking to my kid, and I just mentioned to you guys now, he just asked, "Hey, Dad, how did you do 24-hour driving straight from Boston here?" And I was like, "Hey, I just did it. I mean, how do you do it?" I'm like, "I just did it. I just got to do it. What's in me, So there was a big part of us when we moved to Florida. I had to do a lot of driving back and forth from Boston to Florida. But going back to your question, we came in Boston. Your mom was like a big thing when we first came in, and she helped us out a lot. And then just one thing after the other, I started at Dunkin' Donuts just like everybody else does. And then I had a job at a construction company where I was, repairing chimneys, and the guy just wasn't going where I wanted to go. And I kept on looking, and Julio, our cousin, he helped me land a job at the carpet cleaning job. And with that guy, I kind of started seeing some light, because I was, working really hard, but he didn't want to expand or get any bigger than that.
Okay.
So I kept on pushing him and trying to get him to expand and whatnot. And he was like, "No, I'm not sure. I don't think I wanted to do that. I think I'm good where I'm at." And I kept on doing it. A few months into it, he said, "I want to retire. I wanted to hire someone from your church. I was going to that church at the time, church out in Peabody. And he said, find someone from your church and that's going to be your helper. And I'm going to retire so you can handle the van and do whatever. And I'll retire. I'm like, I don't think I need to do that. I think you need to pay me actually a little more and I'll just handle the whole thing on my own. And that's kind of like everything just kind of turned around because maybe I was making $9 an hour at the time. And I asked him, just give me, like $4 more of the person they got to pay $8 to be my helper. It was done 20 years ago. And he said, you can't do it. It's not physically possible that you can actually, just go and do this whole job on your own. I'm like, I can do it. So after a couple of weeks of trying him and saying, I could do this, and he finally allowed me to do it. He said, I'll give you 2 weeks training, try out, so you can, see if you could do it or not. So we did it, and I was making $15 an hour within a couple of weeks, and that's just one thing after the other. But what I'm trying to say with this, most people just want to, get, and I want to raise, and I want this, and I want that, I want to make more money, but they're not willing to give anything.
Right.
I took on from having a helper that would do all my work
To just taking it all yourself.
just do it, but then I half doubled my salary. So I was making time and a half all the time. So,
Right.
And the work wasn't really that much of a difference because he just really didn't do anything. So it was just all me anyway.
Right.
So I took on, and we're actually making more money and in last time that when I was with him. So he was making more money. He was happy. I was making more money, and that's how things started out. And then, but again, I was still really hungry to do something on my own and get things done and go to the next level. But he was just kind of like, no, I think we're good here. Especially now he had one employee, and he was making over $1,500 a day at the time. That's a lot of money back then,
Yeah. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah. So he was quite happy, and he didn't want to, go to the next level. And I kept on pushing him and trying him, even though I was making really good money.
He just had no vision.
Exactly. He was a retired captain. He was 65 years old.
Okay.
Steve Begley, he's still a good friend. I still talk here and there.
Good.
This is 20 years later. But he just didn't want to do anything else. So I kept on, doing my thing and moving around and trying to figure things out. And I just have a lot of requests from clients saying, hey, do you guys do this? You guys do that? And he just didn't want to expend. So I started doing the things that was being asked if we did it or not. So one thing led to another, and I started my cleaning business. It was Master Care Cleaning Services. And, my brother helped me at the time. We kind of have a type of a partnership. And, cleaning stuff, then led to painting, then led to hardwood floors. And I got a really funny story if you guys want to hear it.
Oh, boy.
It was crazy. My first real construction job per se, it was sanding and refinishing hardwood floors, which I had no clue about. But I thought I did because I was certified on doing a VCT, which is the vinyl floor, like the stuff they see at gyms and hospitals and stuff. But I thought it was the same stuff. My English was terrible, and I just kind of like, I knew I wanted to do it, but I wasn't really sure about how to do it. So I got a call, and the lady was like, well, I want to refinish my wood floors. And I'm like, we could do it. We'll take care of you. And we started this job 100% clueless. And there's something called the drum sander that if you don't know how to use it, you're going to make
the marks, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yep. I learned about this because of the gym.
Exactly.
We had to do our own flooring because our guy fucked up.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that guy was
That's crazy, bro.
So I took on the job, and at the time, I like I said, I knew VCT, which is very different than hardwood, and the process is different. The machinery is different. The process is very similar. And then I went out to Home Depot, rented out the machine, and thought I was doing the right thing, and everything was great. Looked good though, but after we started applying finish, it was like
all messed up.
Like we're in Hawaii,
The floor was all messed up.
It was like waves all over the place, and I could tell that it wasn't great, but I wanted it to be great so bad that I kept on telling myself, "Yeah, it looks good," But here's the worst thing. So, like I said, I didn't know any English at the time. Well, I did a little bit, but not great. And there's a very big difference between polyurethane, which is the one that gives all the sheen, makes it shiny, and stain. But I thought it was the same. I just didn't know better. So 245 mini wax, it was the name. I'll never forget that number. The mini wax was the stain that we used to try to get it to shine. But it wouldn't shine because it was not supposed to shine. It was just a color.
Right.
So the stain gives the color and the polyurethane finishes it. And I was applying, coats and quotes and quotes and quotes and quotes of freaking stain and expecting it to shine. So we apply it and we leave and say, well, we had 15 days to do this job. We reply it. She was going away. The lady laughed and left the house for us to do our thing. So we applied a coat of stain, and the thing would be dull, like it would be flat. There was no sheen in the morning when we came in. So we're like, what the heck is going on here? What am I doing? So after this job, I figured out what was polyurethane and what was stain. We were talking 20 years ago. But this lady comes home 15 days, 2 weeks after we started, and the house is a mess. There's dust everywhere. The floors are messed up 100%. It's bad. And she was like, what happened here? And I'm being nice. I'm saying she was really frustrated. And her husband was a cop. She was a lawyer. So I was kind of afraid of, what things are going to go. But I had put a lot of money into getting to where we were. And although where we were was crap, I was still pushing to get paid. And I said, I know we worked very hard, and I'm sorry, it's not as great as you expected it or as you wanted it to be, but can you please pay me, This lady was literally trying to, kick me out of the house and put me in jail or some stuff like that. And I was looking to get paid because, maybe I spent $6,000-$7,000 in the job at the time, and there was a lot of money for me then, It was just crazy because we kept on repeating the process over and over and over again, trying to get a different result. And that just doesn't work, obviously. But then I was persistent and I says, can you please pay me? She's like, if you don't get out of my house right now, I'm calling the cops on you. Well, actually, I'm just calling my husband, telling him to get you arrested because you messed up my floors. Well, we didn't just mess up our floors, but we actually messed up a lot of things in the house because we're just so unexperienced and just didn't know what we're doing. And that we made a lot of mess. But, the reason I'm telling this, and I'm saying this to everyone, is that before you do it right, you're gonna do it wrong. Before you get it, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's just how it is. And that's a process where you learn and you become better every time you do it, and every time you try it, and just don't give up.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Jordan that said that he's failed time and time and time again, and that's why he was successful.
Exactly.
So I think that's super important that you learn from your mistakes. But I want to go back to how you were saying that you were willing to take more work from that guy that was retiring. And I want to go back to that because I feel like, and you might see this as well, because I feel like nowadays people are coming from different countries to here already expecting a certain salary, already expecting a certain car, already expecting a certain job, and they're not willing to put in that work. Like we were talking about yesterday, right? We were talking about how they don't make them like they used to, right? I look at my parents, I look at guys like you, I look at the people from, 10, 20 years ago, and hustlers, they would do whatever, scrub toilets, take $5 an hour, just do whatever it takes to work. And now here people are coming in with these expectations. Like, what do you think it is?
So unfortunately, it's a mixture of a lot of things. Obviously today with all the technology that we have, we're seeing things and we're hearing things, and we're living in a world where everything it's painted to you. It's nice. It looks good. It's it's yummy. Everyone wants to get a part of it. So you're out in Honduras, and you're out in Brazil, you're out in Dominican, you're out in anywhere in the world, and you see people out here in the United States or Europe, whatever the countries that obviously produces more income, and you're seeing a lifestyle that really isn't real, isn't truth. A lot of guys are showing off what they don't have or they're not. And, guys and girls, obviously. And these people are out there sitting and hungry, obviously thinking that they could, exactly, and thinking they could do better and they deserve a better life, but they're not really taking into consideration of what it really is. Either if you're really doing it, as to guys that are hustled and are coming up, or if these guys are just showing off what they're not. So these people are having a vision that it's really not truth, but they don't know how to filter it, and so it's nothing wrong with coming out here and, writing your history and making ends meet and then growing from there. However, it takes time. It's just a lot of work, and it's just a lot of giving. It's just a lot of times where you're saying no to things that you kind of wanted to say yes. You're just hustling. But so they come here and they're thinking it's just giving. It's just easy. It's just like, they're going to work, yes, but they're not going to work as bad or as hard.
Right.
And it's really not that. I mean, there's no real, oh, okay, it's magic. I just became a millionaire overnight and I did nothing. It's just not like that. You just got to work and hustle and do your thing day in, day out, and keep a positive attitude. But I just think that people are seeing a lot of things that are not truth, and they come here and they are already set for failure, because the way they come, what they're seeing and what they're, we have everybody's telling a different story, but most of everybody is telling a really positive story that it's just easy. I just woke up
until they get here and they actually have to put in the work and
exactly
to achieve those things.
But I've experienced that on my own, like 100% with recent hires that we had, and I say recent in the past 4 or 5 years, where we're seeing it's just hard. And everybody I know in my business and similar to what we do or other businesses, the complaint or the subject always becomes the same. Like, these people are just they don't get it. They just come here and they think it's free and it's given, and you got to do nothing and you're going to have it. It's just not like that. So I think
different mentality.
We are painting a picture for a lot of people that it's easy. Yeah. And they're coming in with that mentality. Like when I came here 23 years ago, like I couldn't talk to my mom over a video call. I mean, actually to talk to my mom, I had to type in maybe 30 or 40 numbers to get through a card and make a call and talk to her. And that call will drop 4 or 5 times, So today I hire people and I ask them, hey, how long you been here for? 6 months. Like, and you got all your documents, all your paperwork is in order? Yeah, all my paperwork is in order. All those little things make people be like kind of clueless. And it's not their fault. It's just
it just is what it is.
And like I said, me being here 23 years ago and what we hustled, me, your mom, other people that we know, part of our family, it's not like we can just say they're not good, they're not worth it. It's not. They're just different. They come from a different generation of immigrants that, they're still working. They're just doing what they know.
Yeah.
The hustling is not the same. The how they think and how they see things is just not the same.
Right.
Why? Because they're not experiencing the same thing they experienced.
Right.
So there's really no right or wrong. And yes, obviously the people are not better or worse than we are. It's just that's a different world.
Yeah.
It's just a different time.
Different generation, different time.
But it's hard for us because we experience all of that. We experience a lot of pain, like you say, clean a toilet for like $5 and you have somebody, like you hire someone to do carpentry work and you tell them to clean a floor. They're like, wait, you hired me?
What do you mean? I'm not doing that.
Yeah, she told me to give me $25 an hour to do carpentry work, not to clean a toilet. And you're like, well, but you're still getting paid $25 an hour, but you're gonna have to clean that toilet because that was what I have right now, right? Before, there wouldn't be even.
You wouldn't even ask. There's like a sense of entitlement now. I feel like
it's hard, but it's what we have, and what we have is what we have, and we just gotta deal with it and go with the flow.
So I want to pivot back to your career a little bit. So what you're doing now, was that something you've always wanted to do and you dreamt of doing because you knew maybe you could make a lot of money or that you were good at it and it fell on your lap? Or did you have different dreams and aspirations before getting into this line of work?
So it wasn't like really like a dream. I'm going to become a contractor. And,
I feel like nobody dreams of being a contractor.
Yeah. It's just, it doesn't happen that way. I saw the construction industry, like most us immigrants get here, and it's a way out. Either you're doing construction, you're selling coffee or you're cleaning toilets, And I did all three. And on the construction industry, I found, I'd say more passion, or a lot of passion, because I really enjoy what I do today. But it wasn't really something that okay, so I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to become this, and it's going to become that. Today, I can see what we at.
Yeah.
And I can see it's just the beginning, because there's a lot of big things coming up, and it's going to happen because I can just see things differently. But no, it wasn't like my dream was to become a contractor. I mean,
what was your dream?
I played soccer, semi-pro in Brazil before I came to the US. And that was kind of my thing, but I just think that's kind of so irrelevant because it's every Brazilian kid.
Every Brazilian. I have that story.
They want to be a pro soccer player.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dominican. Yeah, right. So that was the thing. But when I saw construction and when I really went into what we do today, which is we go into a house and it's completely destroyed, like the house I showed you today. And we make it super amazing. I mean, that gives me a really big sense of it's just great, feels great.
Yeah.
And you make a customer satisfied and happy, and they're, you get in there and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. I mean, I don't like my house, but I don't know what to do with it either. And we get in there, we're the designers, we're the architects, we're the builders, we sell your products, and we do everything. So
yeah,
it's real nice, and
it works super rewarding. I mean,
it is.
I mean, the people who are watching this, I mean, they might see the background a little bit, but they have no idea what it's like in person. And I mean, I can only imagine what the new house is going to be like.
Yeah, we're playing something big in there and making it better. It was like wasn't always like this. Wasn't even
no, definitely not.
You remember this?
Yeah.
It was just a little something that we made it into. Maybe a little bit more something. So it's nicer today. So I enjoy it a lot, but it's what happens. It's an opportunity and we have to take it because it's there.
Yeah.
So,
and you've always and you worked with this back in Boston before,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So why the jump from Boston to Florida?
Funny. We definitely, did the same thing in Boston to a degree. We never had physical stores. We never fabricated our own cabinets or furniture, and we also never sold anything stone and fabricated stone and did the whole thing. But we did, remodeling, but it was quite different. And be honest, I mean, we were successful there. We did good, but there was a time that I just kind of thought it was maybe we should change. Maybe we should do something different. And that time is when the opportunity emerged, and coming from Boston here and starting from scratch. And I'm sure a lot of people know that, you hear this a lot in Boston. Like if you move there, it's crazy. You're going to struggle and it's hard. And, there's not a lot of work and, it pays so little and all that. And trust me, I heard all of that. And I heard worse. People saying like, you're crazy. You got a good business here. Why are you going to move to Florida? Like, why are you going to do this? Things are well. I had a cleaning business in Boston and a construction business in Boston. And both were well, and I was, definitely providing a good income from it. But it was just the whole, snow thing, and the springtime, and everybody's so happy in the springtime. Comes the fall, everybody's like kind of cooling off and dying down. Like I'm already getting tired of this, and I'm depressed, and the 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon is already dark, and that whole thing
sucks.
Yeah, that whole thing kind of like
the worst for that.
See, I grew up in Rio, so in Rio it's summer all year long. So it was that, and then I was in a relationship. We came here to visit, and it happened so quick. I wasn't thinking about moving here, like for a few years. I wanted to because I used to come here, but I've never thought it was going to happen so quick. So we came here at the time. And we were driving from Miami to West Palm, and we're doing a few things, and we're having fun. Me and this person I was with at the time. And she says, "What else we want here?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I could do it. Why not?" I was used to like whatever. I love challenges. It's just nice. It just keeps me going. And she says, okay, you sure? I'm like, yeah. I wasn't thinking this was going to happen for a few years, you know, like we had a little time. And she went online, she started applying for stuff. And I guess she had an interview a few days later and was still here. She came to the interview. She got the job. I'm like, wait,
Damn.
is this really happening?
Moving quick.
So
She really wanted to come.
like really, and you know, for a lot of reasons though. So we go back to Boston. She was Dominican. So we go back to Boston, and she's like, "Well, we got to move." You know, I'm like, "Well, I can't move this quick. It's just, I thought you were saying, you know, a little bit of time, but not this quick." She's like, "Well, I gotta start working over this. It's not the job, you know."
That's crazy.
And like, what do you mean? I got work here. I have maybe 15 guys at a time.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, I can't just get out and, you know. So she kind of put the right pressure, which I'm glad you did. And I went to the guy and says, hey, I think I'm moving to Florida. Who wants to move? And there was a few guys, like the single guys and the ones that didn't have much going on for them at the time. So like, yeah, I'll move.
Damn, that's crazy.
I'll move. So by the end of a 20-minute conversation, I had 6 guys ready to move. I'm like, wait, what? That's amazing. I could do that. So, and then it was just, now the whole thing was upon me to find work to keep these guys going here in Florida. And I had to work in Boston, and I could keep the guys that were there busy and just kind of doing the back and forth. And
that's another thing about the whole hustling thing that people don't understand. Is like you were traveling back and forth from here to Boston to keep the business going there, right?
Yeah. I was here 3 days. I was there 4 days. I was here 4 days. I was here 4 days, 3 days, and it was just
going back and forth.
Yeah, it was. I lived more in the airport than I lived at home. It was just crazy. But the guy said, "Yeah, let's move," and I started making phone calls. This was probably like a Thursday, and I had my first decent hit on answering to ads that I found, and I looked and I contacted people on. I had a big opportunity on Tuesday, so I came on Tuesday. I had a guy that it was my right hand at the time. He's still my right hand today. We're talking 13 years later.
Nice.
And we just flew out here, and we met this guy, Dan Barton, and he showed us 32 units in Boca Raton. And when I say 32 units in Boca Raton, people are thinking, damn, he already landed a $3-4 million contract, you know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that. It was just a real low income community that this guy had purchased, and he was remodeling per se, but he was kind of like paying the pig almost.
Okay.
And making it decent so he could rent it out. So we're not used to that. We're used to Boston, you know, like customer service and real nice finish work and, you know, beautiful homes and, you know, nice remodels. Now we're down to, you know, changing a fan or light fixtures for like $5-10, you know?
Right.
And I wasn't used to that. So we looked at the job and we saw it was a really low income and low pay type job. So I went back and we came back to the hotel. Me and this guy, we looked at it and I says, this is just different. You know, this is real different from what we used to. Because at that time, we're already doing like nice jobs in Boston. And
right. And then you had to come here and basically start.
Literally start from ground. Because, for example, we bid this job at $470,000. And the guy said, this is just, you know, we love to work with you and we know we can do it. And I feel confident with you. And you guys are from Boston. And I know people from Boston do this and do this and do that. And it's great, but I just can't afford it. We just can't pay that number. That number is just unreal for us. You know, we can't charge $125 to replace a fan. And I'm like, so what's the number that you're comfortable with? He's like, $15. So for $125 to $15 to take out a fan and put a new fan, obviously the profit is nice when you're charging that kind of a money, but then there's no profit at 15. There's zero. You know, it takes a guy about 20 minutes to replace a fan, you know, take one down, put another one up. And how much is he making it out? You know, he's got to have a little bit of knowledge to do that. Anyway, so at the end of the day, it was $470 our contract, our estimate that we sent him, and we negotiated it down to $145,000 to do 32 units. So it's quite a difference. But
crazy.
obviously what we estimated as well wasn't the same thing that they were looking for. They're looking for more like, the patching, the little bit of repair here and making this decent so it can be rented out. Like we never did a whole unit with new floors. We just kind of took out the floors that were bad and patched it up with different color tile just so it could be rented. So it just really low stuff, but it was great because that same guy, Dan Barton, it was the one that got us his cousin. That was a lady that had quite a bit of financial stability, and she had money to spend on a nice mansion out in the water in Fort Lauderdale. So we went from zero to something nice right after that job. So we hustled a lot. It was really hard, like going back and forth and, having to work because I had to do a lot of physical work at the time with the guys because we only had 6 guys and me and, flying back and forth. The money wasn't there. There was no extra money to have more guys or to do anything different. I remember, we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts at the end of the day, and every day somebody would buy the drink or buy, the iced coffee because it was just hot like this. And everybody paying a day because I couldn't afford to, buy the guys stuff. Today, it's awesome to go and throw a party. Right. So this past year, we had our end of the year party. We have over 100 people. And it was just nice to throw that money and pay for it. Like there was nothing. It's just
how much would an event like that cost?
It was about 20-something thousand. 20,000. It was just nice to just have everybody drink whatever they wanted and then just do whatever. It was just no.
I want to get into that a little bit. So like the money side of it. So I think I know the answer to this, but coming to Florida, was that a better decision for your business financially?
There's just no comparison.
So you couldn't have been at the same level that you are here back home. Or back in Boston?
I mean, that's a tough question because I think if you win and you have the mindset of a winner and you know what it takes to do it, you could do it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the world. However, coming here kind of got me out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
And since I was doing well, I lived on Daintree Beach, had a nice...
And you were doing well back then.
I was doing well. That's the thing.
What is doing well back then over in Boston? Like what? Give us a rough number of what would be considered doing well there.
So, I mean, I had a solid business.
At least at the time.
Yeah, I had a solid business and I had good people. I had good contacts and I was growing my contact list and people getting to know who Berto was in the business. It was called Mastercare CS at the time and it was getting around, but I probably never made over $2 million a year back there.
Okay.
So, and it was nice because, when you come from nothing and you're selling a couple $1 million, it was nice, And that was a really good year. That was probably because of one big job that I did in Mission Hill in Boston. That got me that high, but overall my jobs were like, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 jobs. And today, my average job has got to be at least $300,000-$400,000, and obviously with over $1 million jobs right now.
So if that's average jobs, so what's the comparison from a $2 million a year job in Boston to what's a year now? What would what's like the highest year you've had here in Florida?
Yeah, today a lot has changed. Like I said, I obviously have a lot more people, so my expenses are a lot more.
Yep.
But just this past year we did 16 million. So
16 or 60?
16 million.
16 million.
Yes. And it was nice to see that number and, just kind of look back and say, well, we did a meeting a couple weeks ago and I had everybody kind of laying around. We have over 60 people working. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, how this all happened, this is nice,
Yeah.
Just gave me a sense of pride from coming from zero or nothing, zero, and a few more zeros on top of these zeros and doing all of that and having all these people. And, and like I said, I feel like this is where we're kind of waking up to where we can go and what we could do. Because just now I could see, like, this is it. Like, it's happened. Like, I could relay on these people, I could, go further. And looking at those people and understanding that we're all the way back there and now here, it just gave me a sense of accomplishment that makes me want to go at least further 50 or 100 steps higher.
Yeah. I'm sure you can break 100 million someday.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's zero doubt in my mind. And I think based on what we're seeing this year, it's going to be better than last year. And obviously the goal is to improve every year. And we're talking about election year. It's a tough year, and people are afraid. But looking at the numbers now, and well, we went from me being a salesperson to having 6 salespeople today. So just that alone, tells you a lot.
How many people work for you?
About 63 of them.
63.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in Florida? Ever since from Boston to Florida?
Florida now, 2013, so 11 years.
11 years.
11 years. But again, my first 11, 12 years in Boston, obviously, the experience, learning the trade 100%, and not 100% because you never know 100%, but learning the trade and knowing what I know today, it'll take time.
Yeah.
But, I could see myself a lot further if I didn't make some mistakes that I made. And obviously, of course, growing up, as a kid that there was zero belief in to coming up to do something it's nice. But coming from that to doing something, it just,
I'm sure you've learned along the way, though, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you learn from your failures, right? So it's kind of a good thing.
it's nothing like it. It's the best school. If you go and you learn from someone, that's amazing. That's great. It's fantastic. It's I hope you guys all do that.
Yeah.
But if you learn from your own mistakes, there's a different sense of how much you really know. Like, you really, really, really know that you made that mistake and you don't want to do it again. Like, and there's no going back. So if you see someone, like if you hear from someone, oh, I made this mistake, don't do that. And you'd be like, I want to still try.
Yeah, you'll think about it and you're still curious and you want to do it.
Right. You still think you can do different.
Yeah.
Not make the mistake,
Right.
But if you go on and you do your own and you make the mistake and you learn from it, it's on. It's like, it's embedded in you, So
Right.
I think it's nice, but it obviously sets you back a little bit. But that's just life. Like, I wouldn't be who I am, or I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't make the mistakes I made. So it's just part of it.
Do you think everyone can be an entrepreneur and kind of do what you did? Or do you think that's something more that like someone is more born with, or do you think someone could just decide today, like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to do exactly what Berto did?
That's a tough question, man. And I don't want to discourage anyone from, maybe trying or doing. But past couple of years, we hired a lot of people that it was a flyby type contractor, that started something just like I started back in the day, and they thought they were going to do it and they were going to make it, and there was money because I don't know if you guys know, but South Florida grew in like a lot in the past couple of years. Just the COVID thing and people from New York, from Boston, from the whole Northeast and the West Coast, California and whatever, moving out here, and they're selling these, $3, $4, $5 million homes, and they're buying a real nice property for $1 million. They're like, this is great. And then we had a lot of people just trying to be a contractor, trying to start your own business and do your own thing. And when it comes to that, it's doable, I'd say, because I really didn't have any background knowledge as far as business and schooling and this and that, and learning from anyone but myself. I wouldn't say it would be easy because it wasn't easy for me, and I had a lot of determination to what I wanted to do, and that was always have my own business. But it's doable. I think if you really, really wanted to do it and you understand what it is, and it's not even understanding the business factor, but understanding that you're going to have really, 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 really super, super duper hard days like you've been having. You're doing your business, you hustling, you're there, you and Christian, painting floors and you're moving equipment and you're doing this and that. It's hard. Yeah. And still to this day, sometimes I get physical and I see guys doing what they're not supposed to do, and I got a hammer and I swing it. I'm like, this is how you do it, because I've been through it. So I know what it is to go through that. But, back to your question, I mean, it's really hard. I guess you really got to try it. And the soonest you try it, the better. But you just gotta have a lot of willpower and determination to get somewhere, because it's hot out there. There's a lot of competition, and each day goes by, there's more competition, and there's everybody trying to do it. And like I said, you see someone doing and being successful, and you're gonna want to do it, and you're not prepared. which I wasn't prepared either. But your mindset is not of a winner. You're not really going to give everything it takes to win. And that's the problem. Like, you're going to quit. Most people are going to quit once it gets hard. And it's going to get hard. Trust me, it's going to get super hard. Like, before it gets better, it's going to get worse. It's going to get hard. There's going to be days in there that you'll be like, why am I even doing this? And I want to be honest, like, some days to this day, I still ask myself, like, why I'm doing all of this. And I remember why. The why is because I wanted to make a difference. You know, I wanted to be different. I wanted to get to the next level, and I wanted to keep on going. And obviously do it for my family, you know, do it for my mom, do it for my family, do it for everyone that, you know, cares about me and depends on me. So, but it's going to get hard. It's going to get real hard. And if you're not prepared mentally to support, like, you know, the driving 24, 25, 30 hours from Boston to make a couple $1,000s, you know, back 12, 13 years ago, if I didn't have the willpower to do it and support the pressure and the being super tired, I couldn't do it, but I did it.
Or if you were born in today's generation, you would do it.
Yeah, it definitely, I don't want to feel like we're older and, you know, we're a better generation, but it's hard. It's just, again, like I said, it's what it's how you accomplish. I mean, it's what you're seeing, is what you're used to. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. It's what people seeing. So you really can't, you know, blame them for, in a way, but it's what
just is what it is.
It's our life, you know.
Now, you were talking about you need to have the winner's mindset, determination. You have to be, you know, willing to go through all the hard stuff. Now, with all that being said, where do you see yourself being in 5 years, being that you have all of those things, that you have all this experience under your belt?
The idea is hard to dictate because things just keeps on changing. And when you're doing your own and being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of opportunities that comes around.
Yeah.
And I could say 5 years from now, I'm going to be here, and there, and I could be way past that in 5 years.
Right.
Because it's who you associate with yourself with, and the connections that you make, and who it's, you know, gets to know you and who you get to know. Mm-hmm. But obviously in 5 years from now, you know, they say it's harder to make your first meal. And once you do that, once you just pass that, it becomes normal, and you're looking at that bill. Mm-hmm. So you're always thinking of that. You're thinking of that. It's constant in your mindset and your mind.
So what's the saying if you got 16 mil?
I don't know. Keep on hustling, keep on doing the right thing, and keep on pushing, because you're gonna get there. You know, when you come from nothing and you make a mill, it's one thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Like, you look at those numbers and you're like, I can't believe I did this, you know? And you see that money liquid in front of you, and it's like, wow, this is nice. And obviously there's a huge discrepancy between the mill and the bill.
Yeah, huge.
But you already know that you did a mill, and the mill, it's like, when you have $1 and you look at a mill, it's the same discrepancy, right? But once you look at a bill from a mill, you're like, that's really far out.
Yeah,
but no, just keep on cashing.
really far.
Because I thought, you know, many times that making a meal was just impossible. You know, coming up and, dude, if we go over everything and where I came from and the whole story of
we'd be here all day.
Not having a home, and my home, it was like just dirt, no windows, no roof, and we're sleeping on scaffold. You know, the guys used to build that same house that we're living in at the time, you know, and going to a mill, and then 5 and then 10 and 20 and 30, and it's going to keep on going. There's just no giving up. Once you have that mindset and you see that you already did this little bit, getting to the next level is just a matter of time.
Is there like a dream or a goal that you're chasing?
You mean financially wise, business wise?
It could be in general.
Not really. I wanted to just keep on making a difference, like personally, because every time I look at it and what we're doing and what I'm doing personally, I'm already living a dream based on where we came from. But what I try to tell my people and live by is just keep on living your dream and never give up. You know, just keep on pursuing it, because if I could do it, you could do it, you know. But financially wise, obviously, I have ideas, and I'm not sharing everything because
Yeah, no, of course. Someone's gonna just take that idea and run with it.
And we'll just keep on pushing it, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much what we did and what we've been doing on a bigger scale. Definitely escalating that is the idea to then take on to the next level. But once you get to the next level, then there's the next level, and you just keep on escalating, and that's just what it is. And I think everybody that's successful, guys way higher than where we are, the mindset is the same. Like there's never a limit. Like you're just not looking at, so when I get here, I'm cool. When I get here, I'm comfortable. It's just not the right thing. Like you're gonna get there, I already know that you just gotta keep on going because it's just what it's what it's what you're used to. So once you get to that level that you're thinking, this is where I wanted to be, which if you ask me, that was me 5 years ago when I got to that level, then I kept on going and going and going. And today I'm at this level, but next year I want to get to the next level, and that just keeps on going. There's no end to it.
Right. So I have a question which I think is pretty interesting. So people are pretty judgmental about certain things, right? So sometimes maybe we'll see your stories and you're enjoying your life and you have your cars, you got your trucks, you got your boat, you got your pool, you got all these things and you're living your life, right? Now the question is, do you think that money changes people or it enhances who you already were?
100% the last one. Like
it enhances who you already are.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm saying, I'm obviously answering this based on me.
Yep.
But if you really go into the question that you just asked me, some people change. Some people really go different and do different things. But as for me, it just definitely enhances who I am. And I try to do right by people and, take care of people and help out and do what I can do to, make life's easier or better than mine was when I was growing up. But definitely I see some people definitely change because, it's a whole different world. And in a way, sometimes I talk about this. As some people know, I'm a fan of Neymar. And I look at that kid and, he kind of look at his story and growing up and this and that, his opportunities and who he became. To me, one of the biggest of all times. And no matter what you say, I don't care. That's in my opinion.
Well, you got to consider that Neymar played with a shit Brazilian squad. And he carried that team and he ran the stats and
that's right.
Savage.
And he wrote a nice, history for himself. And coming from where that kid came and what he did and where he's at, and, it's pretty insane. Like, if you look at his numbers, it's insane.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, people judge him from just a professional Neymar, just a soccer player, just what he should have been doing at the time that he was doing that. But my question to you is, what would you be doing
if you had all that, right?
Right?
If you had all that fame, that fortune.
Like, what would you be doing if you were this guy? That's great. And Messi and Ronaldo, they're amazing, roles.
But that's like outliers, right? That's like one in every, billion or whatever.
But people be like, wow, Neymar is doing this. Neymar is doing that. Everybody's partying. And Neymar is like, I was broke ass at his age and I partied, I was spending money that I didn't have to party.
Right.
So think about that. Like, what would you be doing if you were Neymar? If you had the money Neymar has?
Yeah.
And people it's just literally judging or hating him.
Yeah.
But just look at this kid. He came from nowhere. He did what he did. He's doing what he's doing. He's got all this money. What is he going to do with it? He's going to party. He's going to have a good time. He's going to take care of people. He helps a whole bunch of people. There's a whole bunch of ongs and organization that he's helping out and he's taking care of. And nobody's talking about that, or very few people is, So just stop hating and do your thing.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's what it is.
People love to judge, though. People just love to judge. They just look from a screen and they assume they know that person, but they don't know them personally because whatever, and they feel like they just can judge her.
And my feeling about that, like you said, I party here, I do this, I do that. Obviously, way less now because the kids and whatnot. But I do my thing, and I really don't care.
Still enjoy yourself.
I just live my life.
Right.
I just do my thing, no matter what it is, because I know what I go through daily to be able to do that.
Right.
And I respect that. So when I'm here partying, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm having fun with, I'm respecting that moment as you deserve this, dude. Like you work hard, So no matter what people say, it's not going to change. And I think all these guys, they're out there partying and having a good time and living life, either whether they're partying with their families or their friends, or they're going crazy in the club, or they're blowing up money. It's all good. Just live that moment. And at some point, you're going to grow up and you're going to party with your family. You're going to party with this, and you're going to, just look at things differently. But we all have our times, and we all live those moments, and hopefully grow up and, do what's supposedly
right
by society right.
Right. Exactly.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So we're getting kind of towards the end here. I want to ask just one more thing. What would it be in kind of like the main advice you would give someone that's potentially watching that wants to get into your specific field to get to a level like that you are, or even greater?
It goes to any field. It goes to any type of entrepreneurship that you might be looking to do or consider doing. It's the same thing. You're going to have hard days, and tough times will come no matter what. Whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a soccer player, whether, you're an actor, and, no matter how easy your job might look like, or your business that you're trying to establish look like, there'll be hard days. There'll be days you'll be wanting to give up.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be days you'll be asking yourself, why am I even doing this? Why am I even pushing myself so hard? Because you have to. There's no other way around it. You just gotta, resilient. You just gotta push it through.
So the key to just keep moving.
Just push it, not give up. Don't listen to a lot of people. And I feel like it's within yourself, like it's in there. Like you kind of know what the right thing is to do at that moment. And you're going to be afraid though, but don't let being afraid take you away from what you should do. Like sometimes you got to do big movements. You got to, go into a new warehouse. You got to buy more stone. You got to start a new type of business that's going to be connected to your existing business. And you're like, should I do that now? Should I wait? There's never going to be a perfect time to do it. There's never going to be like, oh, I'm going to do it now and it's going to work. Just don't know it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's like playing with the stock market. You just don't know.
Right. And you're heavily into stocks.
Yeah.
All these.
You just do your research and, make sure that you do your research. Make sure you don't go crazy. Make sure you don't expend way more than what you can, and go for it. That's just the way it is. Just don't give up. It's going to get hard. But we're talking about last night when you arrived, right? It's hard regardless. It's hard. If you're working for someone,
gotta pick your hard, right?
If you're working for someone and you got to be there 9 to 5, I mean, it's hard because you still got to follow orders. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to show up.
Yep.
You got to function and you got to produce.
You got to pay bills.
Exactly. So it's hard regardless. But what kind of hard do you want? Like where you own the whole show and it's hard and you're getting something out of it, or it's hard that, it's just,
you deal with other, like you handle other people's problems.
It's hard regardless. So
there's a saying that's like entrepreneurship is like jumping off a cliff and creating wings or building up as way down.
Right. Exactly. It's just what it is. Like I said, you just don't know what's the outcome. You just do it, and it's not like, oh, hope for the best. No, it's not that either. You work for the best. You just keep on pushing it. You just keep on giving. No matter what people say or do, you just keep on doing it. People are going to say, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't move that direction. That's too risky. And I had people tell me that many, 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 many times. When I first started my granite business, I was half partner with a friend of mine at the time. And when we kind of like, we're going to go different routes because he had great advice to my friend today, Marshall, just different mentality, just wasn't working the way it was supposed to. And I just had to go my separate direction. And instead of going separate direction and going under or complaining or walking backwards, I says, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next level now. And it was pretty risky what I did. I changed machinery, I changed location, and I wasn't really aware of the business as I am today. We're talking 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, 24 years. And I still did it. It was hard. It was, a tough decision, but it was the best thing that I did. It took us to the next level, different location, different type of selling. Where we went from selling, a little bit to selling a whole bunch, and just fabricating to selling the stone that we fabricate. So we're making money on both ends. So it was pretty cool. It was a big change. But again, it goes back to you just
Because everything.
don't know, dude.
Right.
It just there's no.
But it clearly pays off. I mean, because if the people were here to see what you have and what you're creating, they would understand.
Wait, they'll see the new house.
That's what I'm saying. What you're creating is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's there's no secret, there's no index, there's no follow this type of
Just
instruction
do it.
in the manual,
Just do it.
and you're gonna be successful. It really isn't that. If it was, it would be easy. Like I said, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right.
And it's not easy, but it's doable if you want it bad enough and if you work hard enough. You could do it. You could really do it. And just keep on hustling, man, nonstop, and don't listen to a lot of people, and don't bow down, because hard days, it's just part of becoming who you are and winning. There's just no win if there's no fight. There's no working. There's just no win. So hustle, push it up. You can do it.
All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for having us. Do you want to shout out your business for anybody who might be in the Florida area or coming to the Florida area that needs your services?
Yeah, sure. So we're New England Kitchen and Stone Design. We got a couple locations, West Palm Beach and Jupiter. Countertops, cabinets, you name it. Flooring, backsplashes, everything we sell and we install. So we're full on GC, licensed and insured, fully licensed and insured in the state of Florida. So we could build a high rise, or we could just remodel your bathroom. One of the two.
Yeah, in a fraction of the time.
Exactly. Because the ability of doing what we do, it's by very few people. So we can do it, make you happy, and go from there. Next one.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me here.
And thank you for everyone watching. And stay tuned to the next one.
Let's do it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Vinny.
We gonna